Wilcox, if a person lies on Form 4473 and is a user of unlawful drugs, you can get between 5 to 10 years for that. Is that correct? Is that my understanding?
No, I believe Congress changed the sentence last Congress.
What is that sentence now?
Up to 15.
Up to 15 years. Why hasn't Hunter Biden been prosecuted for the crime that he committed?
I'm not aware of the facts of that case and can't comment on it.
Okay, who do we talk to see why this case is not being prosecuted? I mean, he said very clearly in his book that he used drugs, he had at least a gun.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
State point of order.
Totally irrelevant and not germane to this proceeding.
Sir, he's got his 5 minutes. Go ahead, continue.
Okay, so I understand why you do not want Mr. Wilcox to answer that question. It's very clear why you don't want, because there's a dual system of justice in America. That's what's going on right now, and everybody's talking about it across America. There's two standards of justice that are going on.
In other words, by unelected bureaucrats who believe they can make law, apply law, enforce and adjudicate law. That is something every American should be concerned about, because that is the definition that James Madison wrote so eloquently in the 62nd Federalist, is the definition of tyranny. And it doesn't just apply to this agency.
Welcome back to the High Impact Flicks channel. Stay tuned because we got to talk about the ATF. Today's video is sponsored by Night Watch Pro 4K night vision goggles. With the 3-inch display, you can take photos and video in 4K day or night. With the infrared all-optical system, you'll be able to see and time and date stamp record with absolute clarity in complete darkness. What you're seeing are some of the videos I've taken with mine. It's rechargeable, so you'll never need to buy batteries, and the charge lasts 4 to 5 hours with constant use. It's lightweight and durable, and you can mount it to a tripod. It comes with the night vision goggles, 32GB SD card, neck strap, a USB cable, and manual. Grab one today at nightwatchpro.com and get 60% off and insured express USPS shipping. The link is in the description and the pinned comment. The most popular president in American history, Joe Biden, is seeking to beef up the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives budget to $1.9, wait for it, billion in fiscal year 2024. That's a $663 million increase in funding compared to the end of the Obama administration's fiscal year 2017 budget. By the way, Biden's budget also coincides with several gun control measures, which are really people control measures, including pistol stabilizer rules, ghost gun rules, and a zero tolerance policy for gun dealers. Especially through the Department of Justice and in particular with the ATF, this administration has declared all-out war on the Second Amendment. Whether it's their demands for significant increases in funding for enforcement by arbitrarily changing statutory definitions via executive fiat, or by implementing a zero-tolerance policy to shut down firearms dealers and expand an illegal gun registry. President Biden and his anti-gun cabal are doing everything they can to harass, discourage, and chip away at gun owners and the community as a whole. Here's some back and forth from yesterday's hearing on Capitol Hill.
I'm a little surprised, especially growing up in a Republican family, that my colleagues have abandoned the position I've long known them to hold, which is to defend and protect the police. And instead, they have brought here a witness who said, "F the cops." And they have among their ranks a colleague who sells campaign merchandise that says, "Defund the FBI."
Nobody who claims to represent others would ever have as their objective the defense and protection of any profession. What if the entire profession slips into and becomes consumed by tyrannical actions, which is exactly what's happened? To blindly support a profession regardless of their unconstitutional actions is to give place to tyranny. Swallowwell is trying to shame House Republicans by showing them how far from their roots they've strayed.
And the title of this is ATF's Assault on the Second Amendment. This is a law enforcement agency charged with protecting the community. And so what we are really coming to find is that this gang is not interested in backing the blue. They're entirely interested in backing the coup.
Nobody should be interested in backing the blue. As a matter of fact, the old saying goes, back the blue till it happens to you, is one way for people to get a whiff of the smelling salts of reality. You should be interested in backing the truth, backing what is right, and organizations who consistently do what is right.
They don't stand up for the officers who protected us at the Capitol that day, and certainly by bringing witnesses here today that say fuck the cops, we know that that's exactly where they stand. Otherwise, they wouldn't have invited somebody like that.
The Nonpartisan Government Accountability Office issues a report in June of 2016, Firearms Data. The ATF did not always comply with the Appropriations Act restriction and should better adhere to its policies. Mr. Wilcox, you're the witness the Democrats have invited here today. Are you familiar with that report?
I am.
And does the fact that the ATF broke the law concern you?
The report, I believe, supported ATF's action in cataloging records to stop crime.
I'll read from it. It says, a technical defect allows ATF agents to access data, including purchaser data, beyond what ATF policy permits. Do you take any umbrage with that conclusion?
ATF has been collecting out-of-business records pursuant to a law signed by Ronald Reagan, and President Trump digitized more records than any other president.
I don't care who did it. I'm just worried about the impact on my citizens. And I would acknowledge there may be Republican presidents who didn't do enough in the 80s to protect our gun rights. But on this finding, the ATF had to delete 252 million records, didn't they?
So this is a tool that's helped solve 50% of crime.
Wait. Did they have to delete 252 million records?
What I know about this tool is that it's a
That's not what I'm
crime-fighting
asking
tool.
you. Did they have to delete? You said you're aware of the report. Is that conclusion correct? They had to delete 252 million records.
I'm not aware of that line, but what I'm aware of is the
Well,
tool, crime-fighting tool.
I'll represent to you that that's what had to happen. The fact that the government collected 252 million records that was beyond the law, beyond policy, never approved according not to me, not to my fellow Republicans, but to the GAO. Should that be concerning to us, that scope of records being collected?
ATF's collection of out-of-business records was fully compliant with the law.
That's not what the GAO said, so you disagree with the GAO report.
Well, there's 2 points they made. One is the collection of out-of-business paper records that FFLs keep. The second piece was the collection of electronic records that FFLs keep. And what the GAO said was the electronic records were not being converted sufficiently. And that's what ATF
so that's why they had
fixed
to delete
become
them,
in compliance with the law.
Because they had gone beyond their authority. You see, that's the concern of my constituents. When they go beyond their authority, and you may find those things virtuous, but no one elected you. They elected us to make the laws, and when we make the laws and they don't follow them, then people's rights get diminished.
What's ironic about this is that even though what Matt Gaetz is saying here rightly points out ATF overreach, every time Matt and his Democrat and Republican buddies create a law, our rights automatically get diminished. More laws usually equals less freedoms for the rest of us.
Another area is this issue of the arm braces. Now, in Mr. Wilcox's testimony, he says that an arm brace makes a weapon more powerful. Mr. Bosco, you know a lot about arm braces, don't you?
I do.
Do arm braces make firearms more powerful?
They do not. They do not.
Does it concern you that the witness that the Democrats brought would make such a claim that is obviously disproven by any utilization of those arm braces?
I hope that my testimony today can help everyone here understand that the brace does nothing to make the weapon any more dangerous than it already is.
And so when you've got the ATF going beyond their authority, collecting 252 million records that they have to destroy, well, that can just be explained because they're doing their best. But when Americans get inadvertently converted to felons because the ATF has exceeded their authority, there is no such grace for them, is there, Ms. Swear?
that would seem to be the case under the recent policy change to zero tolerance.
Zero tolerance for our fellow Americans when they're trying to exercise their rights and protect their liberties, but all the tolerance in the world for a corrupt bureaucracy that is violating the law, exceeding their authority, and collecting records that they have no business collecting. I would make this final observation. I had the great privilege to spend 2 years on the House Judiciary Committee with the gentlelady from Missouri, and while she and I disagree strongly on this issue, her beliefs are sincere, and they are strong, and they are powerful, particularly when she expresses them. And so when she says to people that she wants to defund the police, she means it. And when she says in this committee meeting that gun violence is a public health emergency, well, she means that too. And our fellow Americans know the impact of folks up here in Washington declaring everything and anything a public health emergency. It means you're more likely to be locked in your homes, deprived of your freedoms, less healthy, less safe, less secure, and less able to live a truly American life. So know this, when the left talks about this as a public health emergency, get ready to see those enhanced authorities abused by the ATF. And, Mr. Chairman, it is my sincere hope that in the very near future, we will have those very folks from the ATF here. And I intend to be utilizing the new rules that we have in the House of Representatives to offer amendments to the Appropriations Act to zero out their salaries for breaking the law and abusing the liberties of our fellow Americans.
Remember, the ATF is not there to protect and serve any American. We've seen how they've been used. They're there to implement controls. The implementation of controls always means the infringement of freedoms. Leave your thoughts about this in the comments below. It really helps me combat the censorship algorithms. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know. Don't forget to subscribe to my email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. All those links are in the description below. And if you want to support the channel, grab a hard-hitting, conversation-starting design that you can put on any shirt, hoodie, mug, cell phone case, hat, whatever you want. I'll see you in the next video.
With all the crazy stated plans of the Great Reset, the currency reset, and even the food reset, it's not a matter of if the store shelves are going to clear and there's a lack of food. The question is when. You need to get long-term storable food. It doesn't matter if it's from me or you just go to the store and you buy food. Just grab dry, storable food while you can. If you want to get it from me, you're going to support the channel and you're going to help yourself out because my link has a discount code embedded within it. You can check that out in the description below.